So we are connecting here uh, because of the inspiration that it gave us the retreat that we are organizing together. But so many things came up, and uh, like your page, and also the name of our retreat is quite strong because it says Tango Deep, and like the people know you as a teacher, as a dancer, connecting probably your name sometimes with this Tango Deep that you have on your Facebook page. So I wanted to start before like going into it also from a deep question. And this question is, if do you feel that it is possible to really connect with your partner if you are not connected with yourself?
It's a good question. It's a philosophical question. Mm, I would say that I don't like to be extremistic. I don't like to say no, but I would say likely, as I feel, as I believe, likely. mm, if I have questions to myself, then maybe it's not really work as good as it could work with my partner neither.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's nice to feel what happens with your own body if you want really
Mm-hmm.
to share something. And in tango, I really like the idea that it's nice to have a choice. Yeah, for example, sometimes things just happen.
Mm-hmm. For
And
example?
okay, we dance, we do mistakes, and something happened. It can be something nice, but it wasn't by purpose. It wasn't a
Mm-hmm.
choice, let's say. And it's nice to have a choice, like to be able to decide. Of course, also to have a right for a mistake, because of
Mm-hmm.
when we dance mistakes of each other. I like this phrase of one of my friends, but still, like it's nice, maybe not to control. Control is not so nice word, yeah, but to aware of what happens. Did I understand your question right?
Yes, 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 I think yes. Yeah. So, but do you think it is easier to, because the moments on the milonga when this kind of mistakes happen sometimes can be strong moments for us. Like we know very well that sometimes it gives to the people quite a lot of stress. Also, it depends how the partner reacts, how sure we feel of our technique. So there's many factors that can make these small situations not that easy. And how do you feel like being in contact with your body, your emotions, being connected with yourself can also influence how you react to this and how joyful or playful can be your tango, and how at the end this creation that comes from out of the mistakes can be like?
Yes, like okay, for me, milonga, it's a territory of pleasure. It's where I do believe that people come to milonga to enjoy the night, yeah, to enjoy, dancing, listening to the music, talking to the friends, just being there. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
milonga is not the place where mm, I would like to work. And often we come to milonga with some background, something on our shoulders. I don't know, it can be hard working day, it can be something in, like, I don't know, at home or whatever, just even maybe some conflict on the road. And so we come in some mood. And first of all, like, it's the magic of music of tango, which for me personally very often helps to switch. And second time,
Mm-hmm.
it's me who is making decision that okay, we're here and now. I'm at the milonga. I'm at another world, and I don't want to behave the same way how I did like 5 minutes ago before the entrance. So in this sense, like being aware of my condition, it helps to, I don't know, to enjoy things.
Mm-hmm. And what can you do, or what do you do in your own practice to be more connected to your conditions, to be more understanding with your body, with yourself, and like even if you have it, like how to apply to the dance with your partner, because your partner can be in a totally different place. Like he can expect from you a perfect technique, he can expect from you no mistakes, or he can have another vision of connection. So how do you find a golden mean here so both sides can enjoy?
Okay, I do believe. Okay, now there is ideal world and real world. Maybe now I let myself to speak a little bit about ideal world. So I do believe that in ideal world, we both need to have an ability to adapt. Yeah, for example, it's you now in front of me, in your condition, in your world. I'm here, and to find the connection, at least theoretically, we both have to be ready to do one step forward. I, for me, it's important to be able to do one step toward you, and for you to do one step toward me. And then it's okay. It's ideal world. Sometimes someone has to do two steps. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes someone is ready for these two steps. Sometimes maybe not really. And all the suffering in this world is of some higher expectations. Yes. So like I don't really like this word expectation.
Yeah.
To be honest, yeah. So like it's not only about tango, but even in tango, it's nice to have surprise and surprises, yeah. And for example, for me personally, if I want to dance, I'm not looking for some perfect technique. Yeah, like, okay, of course, it's always pleasure to dance with people who like advanced people, yes, like people who dance a lot, who knows how to dance, yes. But you can share something. Tango can happen. I like this word. The tango happens or not happens, yeah? But likely not happens. Joke, yeah. But when it happens, it's a thing to remember. So if we both can adapt and to tune for each other, then it can be something beautiful. So this is what I think we are looking for in tango. And when such things happens, later we are looking for the way to repeat. But it's, of course, it's such beautiful tandas. They don't happen for every milonga. Sometimes we're just having nice time, but it's great. Yeah, like, but sometimes magic happens, and I think it happens. This magic happens first of all when there are no expectations.
This is not easy.
But possible. Yeah, for example, like it's nice to, yeah, as I said, it's nice to be surprised. I don't know what is going to happen, so let's see. And sometimes it's hard, first of all, because of some, let's say, technical questions. Yeah, okay, maybe it's okay. What I'm going to say now, it's not really about technique. It's about, let's say, philosophy. I do believe that when we dance, we both follow each other. Of course, there are roles of leader and follower, but still, it's for both. It's important to follow. Yeah, it's not to be too strict in asking or giving or expecting or so on.
Yeah. So the people who come to you obviously very often for your classes, for a technique, to work on the technique, to work on the balance, to work on the embrace. But what could you give or recommend, or what kind of tools you could share with people that are out of the technique to go in the directions of all these things that you were talking about now, how we can learn this acceptance. Do you have some secrets?
A good
to share?
question. Yeah, some secrets. Mm, okay, I will try to approach to this answer from some distance because of, yeah, it's really quite a difficult question. So I would say that when we work on something in the classes, we can work on many different things. Yeah, it can be technique. This is how we manage the movement of our own bodies. It can be connection, embrace. How do we feel each other? It can be dynamics, like quality of movement. What can let us to do once the same step in 1 million different ways. Yeah, it can be musicality, connection to the music, and it can be creativity, like, okay, this is our vocabulary, this is all these steps, figures, and so on and so on. Yeah, so, and all these 5 things, they are very well connected between each other. It's very hard to say sometimes where the end of one part and one basic element and the beginning of the next one. So some things, like technical ones, yeah, or balance and so on, it's, or music, even dynamic, it's possible to train alone. Some things,
Yeah.
since tango it's a couple dance, yeah, some things it's not that easy. Yeah, for example, connection. And what is possible is, but since everything is connected, why some, for example, sometimes I can have difficult moments with my partner because of my habits. For example, in dynamics. So, like, working on the habits, and actually on all the classes we mostly will work with our habits, can help me to feel better what happens in my movement and what do I offer. Like, first of all, I have to reply to myself, what do I want to say to my partner, real partner or virtual partner. And tango is like a storytelling, and I have to think what can help me to talk better, some intonation maybe, yeah, or like this storytelling, this story, it should be nice to listen and nice to talk. So first of all, it's maybe better understanding what I'm gonna say, because of not just let things happen. I do these things because of I do these things. And since if you asked about the secret, I have one.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I have maybe more than one, but what I'm gonna say, it's connected to your question. Once someone asked me about the class, how do I dance? And my answer was, when I dance, I just create lakes.
You do what?
Create lakes.
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 What does it mean?
It's okay. It's a long conversation. Maybe more detailedly we can speak in the mountains about lakes. But if in brief, it's this is about dynamics. This is about dynamics and tempo. It's like creating some special moments in your movement. Thinking about doing something special, and of course connected in a special moment to the music. And I call them lakes. Later I can explain why.
And you said one very interesting thing about habits, because habits are so
Yeah.
strong usually and so difficult to change because they are habits. Like, we have some connections, neural connections in our brains that have created them, and like of course in tango, but also in a real life. We work on habits, we make, I don't know, some work with our so-called strong will, and still we cannot change it. We repeat the same patterns sometimes about the movement, about the way how we are answering to the partners' propositions, to the leaders, or how we lead when we are a leader. So how we can work on the patterns, because this is something that is really connected with our brain waves.
Yes, and it's very well connected with the thing which you wrote me earlier about mindfulness, yeah, about like awareness of what happens, because of, yeah, we're slaves of our habits, and but we do love freedom, no? We appreciate it. And okay, I have heard several times some phrasings like, to change a habit it takes, and then different people tell different number, like 20 days, 40 days. I know that some people are able to quit smoking, you know.
Yeah. But this is the same in tango. Sometimes it seems like that it's really, it takes effort to
Yeah,
change the habits that we have.
yeah. So the first step in this direction is just to accept that there are habits and I have them.
Mm, like in a real life.
This is the first step. Yeah. Hello, my name is Slava. I have habits.
Mhm.
Yes. And then it's some inner analysis. What, why, and where from these habits come from? Because of some of them are very natural. Yeah. For example, we don't have symmetry in couple when we dance, and normally we don't have symmetry in bodies. Like
Yeah.
majority of people can do things with the right hand maybe better than the left, or vice versa.
Mhm.
And in tango we have some, let's say, real rules, like we dance against counterclockwise in the rule, yeah,
Mhm.
and so on. So like somehow some movements are more natural than others, but some things can be adapted. Yeah, for just how to say, just to try to pay attention what happens. Like,
Mm.
for example, what step we use to, like for leader, it's a question for leaders now. What step you use to start the movement?
Mhm.
95% we go to the left or forward. Start,
Yeah.
try something else, just for fun, just at the practice, maybe not on the melonga, yeah? And for ladies, very often in the backward ocho, when you go backwards, if there is no turn, you do cross, or you do cross in forward ocho. Very often automatically. Dlaczego?
Mhm.
Why?
Yeah, dlaczego? Yeah. This is so interesting what you're saying, because it seems so simple, like start leading from different movement than usual, but it seems to take really hard work for the brain,
Yeah.
especially in the milonga. So this is very interesting situations, because it shows how very small, simple habits are hard to change.
Yes.
How are strong these like neural connections in our brain.
Yes, and another one, for example, just for fun, I like this example a lot. Just for fun, one can come to Milonga, and if you don't dance, have a look at the dance floor and try to check how often you see people doing cross, well,
Mhm.
the usual cross, simplest one, and what is the reason for this cross. I think,
Mhm.
like, you will notice that 99% of people do this cross like double time. Step, cross, step. One and
Mhm.
two. Yes, and it's understandable. I also use it for the same way. And it's easy, it's natural, it's like world-known movement and so on. And it's very easy
Mhm.
to express double time with this help. But
Yeah.
I remember that on the beginners group, once we showed this cross for beginners for the very first time. And of course, we did it slowly, at first even without the music, then like with slow tempo, and they did their best, and by the end of the class they could repeat it. And then after the
Mhm.
beginners, it was the class of advanced group, people who danced 2-3 years and more. And just for fun, we asked them to repeat it, to do cross the same way how beginners did it, slowly. They could not.
Because the
No,
habits
no,
were
but it's
already.
a habit.
This is incredible. Like here something comes to my mind that like very often we spend like years and hours weekly like training tango, no? Learning the technique, going for group classes, private classes, everything. But sometimes we don't give so much attention to the work out of tango. So my question is like how do you see this to if you really want to work on the patterns of our movement, of our habits, it may be simple mindfulness techniques that have nothing to do with tango. How do you feel? They can be very effective maybe, no?
I think, okay, in general, of course, yes. Maybe, of course, such things are more personal. Yeah, so for someone it will work very well, and from the beginning, for someone maybe it will take a bit more time to go deeper and to understand if it's yours or not. But in general, of course, yeah. So like taking care of what happens with your body and your, let's call it mind, your inner condition. This is the thing which help you to improve your abilities in general, like your skills. It's not only about, it's about your own movement, it's about your connection to your partner, it's about your connection to other people, like to people around, and so on and so on. And for example, once we had a conversation with a friend about classes of navigation, like floor craft, like taking care about movement on the dance floor. And I even had, like years ago, I even had some experience trying to do these classes, but at the end I stopped, like to do just classes of navigation, because of, as I started to think, as it seemed to me, majority of people, they don't follow the rules, let's say, not because of they are mean, not because of they are bad, and not because of they don't know these rules. Just when they dance, they don't have enough space in their memory to think about it as well. Or the concept how they dance, how they were taught to dance, it's not about these things. So like maybe I would replace the word control with taking care. But first of all, taking care about your movement, and first of all, it means about your balance, and balance, yeah, first of all, your own balance. And then theoretically to be able to help your partner if needed. Still, we're talking about real world. But in ideal world, like everybody take care about the balance. And moving from point A to point B, from one comfortable position to another comfortable and stable position, this is what helps me to take care of things which I mentioned. Yeah. So in this case, I have abilities to take care about things around. And another thing, like as I said, not just expectations, but also plans. The idea is not to be a slave of your plans, yeah, and to be flexible and to change your decision in any moment. It's another thing which helps a lot. Yeah, like not to want. Sorry?
Like this flexibility of the mind is something that can be trained. So it comes to me that generally maybe it's very good to work on the neuroplasticity of our mind to make the tango better and like to not be stuck so much in the patterns.
Exactly. So for me, this this idea, it came not just in tango. Yeah, before tango, I was doing some sport and practicing meditation and for some years. So I think it helped me a lot. First of all, because it was meditation and it was like a lot of breath exercises. Because like in tango as well, like many things are connected with breath, at least like a metaphor. and sometimes not just like a metaphor. And
So, do you feel like working about the breath, the deep, proper breath, liberating also the diaphragm, diaphragm, and also being aware of the breath? These kind of exercises can help us to influence the tango technique.
of course, yeah, because of in general, taking control of your breath help you to feel yourself better. So it's when you dance, this is what we need. And it can sound funny, but absolutely, like in serious situation, on like, okay, I think more than 5 or maybe even more than 10 times. I remember like students at private classes, they were saying something like, "Oh, I forgot to breathe." At first, I thought it's a joke, but then, like after this situation repeated again and again, no. And so it means like it's a stressful situation, and the idea that it should not be a stressful situation.
But also like being aware of the breath and doing even some little breathing exercises at home or working on awareness of the breath can help us to relax more quickly in the stressful situations, also on the milonga. Like I personally know it mostly from the side of working with yoga, with liberating the breath and working with the consciousness of the breath, taking out the emotions, the traumas out of the body with the breathing techniques. And this is very liberating. And once we are aware, it changes everything, not only in tango, but I
Of
think in
course.
tango as well.
Yes, of course. But tango is just, we'll say, some cut of life. Yeah. So it's hard to say that in tango I am like that, and in other parts of life I am different. Everything is connected. So you're absolutely right. Like for me personally, all these things connected with breath and controlling your breath. Yeah, this is what helps to improve, in my humble opinion.
In yoga, we say that the breath is the subtlest aspect of our body. In the sense also that if we want to be really aware of the body, it helps to develop the capacity to be really aware of the breath. Because if we are aware of the breath, that is something very, very subtle, our mind gets sharpened, it's getting more sharp. So we are training our mind to be really, really attentive to the small details. And if the mind is trained to be really attentive, to notice so subtle things like a breath, natural breath, then I feel it can be much easier for us, for dancers, to feel very subtle signals from the partner's bodies. How do you feel it?
I can say nothing else that I am absolutely agree with you here. So sorry for the short answer.
And you were talking also about the balance. This is very interesting because you do many practices about the balance, I know, and also like I think your technique, your way of dancing, of teaching is kind of known for a perfect balance. And could you say something more about it? Because I know you do these slackline practices, so it seems like it has nothing to do with tango, but obviously it helps your tango.
Okay, of course everything is connected. For me, these things like slackline or soup, like the board with the paddle. Okay, it's to play. Yeah, but okay. In general, I like to play. Not only it's like way of seeing life. And sometimes dancing is also can be called playing in the best meaning of this word. Yeah, even if we speak about very serious things. So it's the same. This is what, of course, all these things are connected, and doing something in one field, I don't know, like slackline, of course it affects your way of dancing too. I don't want to say that nobody can dance without doing slackline. Of course, no. It's not the way. Yeah, like, but it's nice thing. It's nice practice. It's nice practice. It's let's say one more way to try to feel how well you manage your body movement. And in slackline, like why I like it, for me it's not about to go, it's about to stay. So like when I'm on the line, yeah, I like the feeling of just be there. Of course I'm doing steps, but just the feeling of being like in the sky, even if it's just 1 meter above or less than 1 meter, I love it. It's a special feeling. And even 1 millimeter long movement can change everything. Yes, and
more than in the tango,
and,
or like
and when we dance, we also dance about millimeters sometimes, yeah. Because for me, often the deepest pleasure in dancing, it's sharing some small moments, like almost without the movement, or like some very, very small nuances. Yeah, so for example, when you dance Troilo, yeah, it's about to dance parts of millimeters. Yeah, it's not like, I don't know, coming from one color to another one. Yeah, it's smallest shades of the same color, and it is the pleasure. This is why I like this. I call it deep, and I like these deep things. Yeah, deep in the meaning that less is more. Yes, and it's not really important what we do, but it's important how we do it. And for example, like if we speak, okay, if to compare the dancing with a conversation, if we both speak with whisper and we both can understand this whisper, it can be a beautiful storytelling, beautiful sharing of some story. Of course, not the only one, but this is what I like.
So maybe it's going too much, but we can say that this slackline practice kind of helps you to feel these small changes of the shades when you're dancing Troilo.
I think maybe it works in both directions. Another way I can say that Tango helped me to improve my slackline, and then vice versa. Yes, and it's a nice thing to try. So like I hope we'll be able to organize something, some opportunities during the retreat, and if someone didn't try it before, it can be a nice opportunity.
Nice. Yeah, I think it can be very interesting experience for everyone. Maybe then everyone wants to dance only Troilo to feel these shades. And also talking about the balance, like how would you say the balance of the mind, like really balanced mind, balanced emotions, does it influence your physical balance as well?
I do believe that such things are directly connected. Yes. And if to speak about physical balance, yes, for me it's the most important thing ever when we dance. Yeah, like maybe it will, the thing which I'm gonna say, maybe it will sound a bit strange, but in some cases, I would say that balance for a girl, for example, it's more important than connection.
This is
More
very
important
interesting.
than embrace. Yeah, because of if we try to keep being together, doesn't matter what, but our bodies are not really in happy positions, we both are gonna suffer. And if something goes wrong, Yeah, for example, I don't know, like it was some misunderstanding. I beat a little bit longer steps than necessary, or she did. Yeah, if we just release the arms and let them ourselves go, okay, we broke the distance. But it's not a real tragedy. Yeah, if we, but still we both feel happy with our bodies. We control the balance. We, we're in a stable position. Yeah, if we want the next step, we'll come back again. So
Mm.
this feeling of being on the axis, is especially for ladies, especially for followers, yeah, for me it's one of the like crucial moments, basic and the most important moment in technique.
This is so interesting. Actually, like I wanted to ask you about these things, but you already answered.
Sorry.
But no, yeah, it's
Maybe it means that we already have some connection
yeah, the
during
connection
this
already is
interview. Yeah.
clear. Yeah. But this is very interesting because going to the milonga, sometimes you focus so much on the connection that the body is suffering and the connection is beautiful. Like maybe we feel each other, we feel some breath, we feel, I don't know, small signals, but we are so focused on this, we are so afraid to release the connection, to let it go a little bit, that we lose the axis, that we squeeze each other's backs, that maybe the head is going forward. So I
Exactly.
think this is so important and so interesting what you said, that sometimes balance is more important.
Mostly, in the most of cases, yes, let's say.
Uh-huh.
And
But
I like to joke, I'm sorry for the black joke, that here with the connection, like with embracing when we dance, it's the same like in relationship. If something
mhm.
goes wrong, it's better to break immediately.
Mm-hmm. And then from the
And then to have a
distance,
look to
once
the things
again,
from a distance.
yeah, 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 yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also then if we release a little bit this connection, when we come back to our own balance, our own axis, we can start the connection again more consciously, again like in life.
Another thing, like from your one thing from your words made me to play a little bit with the words and to think about that how we can use one word for different purposes. Yeah, for example, like if we speak about balance, oh sorry, if we speak about connection, yeah, it can be connection, of course, with a partner, as of course it's connection with music, as well it's connection with the ground, with the floor,
Mm-hmm.
and it's connection with people around. And if connection with the ground, it means balance. Yeah, it can be balance like being stable and not to fall, like Pisa Tower. Yeah, or it can be balance of mind as well. It's very nice, very interesting point to think about, like what the word balance mean. Yeah, or also the word balance can mean what we do, how balanced our story. Let's say, for example, uh, if our story consists of only words of few letters, or there are some long words. Yeah, you understand what I mean? Like,
Yeah, 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 I do. Totally. Uh, but all this also once again makes me think about what we were talking about, being connected with yourself, because in the situation in the milonga, like if we really look so much for the connection with the partner, but there is something missing about the connection with our own body, with feeling very subtle things in the body, that we can work through many techniques also out of tango, like with breathing practices to sharpen the mind, with releasing the tension out of the body to feel it more. So if we can really feel it, we will, it's much more likely that we will avoid this kind of situations. And because we
yeah,
feel like straight something is happening, we feel okay, there's something wrong with my axis, there's something wrong with the muscle tensions. So like it makes me think, of course, like in life again, that like sometimes we really have to be 100% with ourselves to get
mhm.
this real connection. We have to feel ourselves, we have to feel comfortable with ourselves, we have to feel and understand our body, to know where we are on the dance floor or in life. And then we can connect with the partner, not out of missing something, but because we have so much and we feel so grounded and we feel so much ourselves that we have a lot to give and share. And I feel, of course, it's about the life and everything, but I feel also very much about the technique.
Yes, and for example, this awareness, like first of all, with understanding what happens with you, and I mean both like body and mind, because sometimes I think it's very hard to split these things. Sometimes one can have some tension, inner tension, physical or like mental, or of course it can be connected, likely it's connected, and even not to notice it.
Exactly.
It happens quite often, to be honest. Yeah, like I have some understanding that something is wrong, but when already it hurts, and like probably already during some time it was not comfortable pose or something else. Yeah, but I did not notice it. I speak about like in general now. In tango, it's the same. I have some posture. I have some habits about my posture, and I even don't notice that it's not comfortable for my body. It's like it can be changed a little bit and improved a lot.
Yeah, yeah. But for this, we need really to feel our bodies and to have contact with them.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend to your students or to generally tango dancers, what to do, how to work to get this better connection with the body?
First of all, like as I said about expectations, about habits. First of all, to accept that there are things to do. Yeah, it's like to put one seed to your brain, and it will take a little time. It's personal, for someone like shorter, for someone longer, but accepting this thing, normally this seed will become a plant and it will give fruits. So this is like the first thing, and maybe the most important. Second, to analyze. Okay, analyze maybe it's too difficult, too heavy word, but okay, it's still just to think about the concept. The concept of what does it mean to dance? What is it?
Okay.
And how different parts, like technical parts and musical and so on, how they are connected. What do I want in dancing? What would help me to enjoy it even more if I change this or this? And accepting this idea that sometimes, it's very hard to accept that there are still things to learn, especially if I dance 2 or 3 years. I know everything. I don't need any more classes. I'm the like coolest dancer ever. Okay, maybe I will take class from some Chichicho Frumboli when he comes. Yeah, that's it. Accepting that there are things which can be improved, it's the first step on this way. Then there is idea, okay, it's personal. I don't want to recommend some practices or whatever, because of like one can find different things, and what is good for one person can be maybe more difficult for another one. But still, like some understanding of the concept. First of all, understanding where we want to go and what we want to go to have in the end. It will help to understand what steps and what tools we can use to reach our goal.
But you mean like technically about the structure of the dance, or you mean
No, everything.
like about why do we dance?
What does it mean to dance? And why sometimes gave a lot of pleasure, and some even more.
Okay,
And
this is
just,
very interesting. Yeah.
sometimes it's magic, and like it's impossible to explain it. But beside of magic, there is some, let's say, a result of some job in clothes, yeah. And if I got used, for example, to dance in one way, and it can be interesting to do a side step and to have like side step, I mean, to step somewhere and to have a look, to observe your own dance from a distance. And like to ask yourself, like, what is missing or what is too much? Yeah, for example, I have, okay, if I compare, still like, if I can keep comparing dancing with storytelling, or it can be story writing, you know, like, for example, I have very interesting ideas, very like rich vocabulary, but nobody can read it because of my handwriting. Or opposite, yeah, I have ideal calligraphical handwriting, but it's just set of letters and they don't have any meaning, any sense. Yeah. You understand what I mean?
Totally.
So like sometimes it happens, and this is what can, like, this sidestep and trying to have a look to the situation from a distance, it can help to understand what can be improved and in which direction it could be interesting to work or to play.
And like, could you, because like we were talking a lot about this kind of more philosophical things, and I'm wondering, like, if it is possible for you to say what is usually the biggest technical problem that we get, or if there's something that is kind like of a milestone for the most of the people in the tango technique that should be really worked, and then we get a shift that improves a lot. There is anything like that?
You want me to name just one thing?
Yes, one or two or three, but not more. Or maybe if there is more, this is also the thing, because it would bring us to the point that the bodies are so different, the people are so different, that maybe sometimes it's hard to find a recipe for everyone.
Okay, first thing which I would offer to check is tone of muscles of the back. Are we really aware of it? This is thing number one. But very often it's connected like with the position of spine and with how we spread the weight on the feet, and again how well balanced we are.
So it brings us again also and to the
Of
balance
course,
of the body.
everything is connected, Anya. Yeah, and another thing like balance and grounding and connection with the floor. Yeah, everything is connected. And another thing for followers, especially for followers maybe, and especially if someone dance in the flat shoes and don't touch the floor with the heels. Like just keeping your heels in the air, sometimes it's automatically adds some extra tension for the back. And I know that theoretically girls like to put on flat shoes because of the feet are tired of the heels. Yes, but if you don't use your heels, then maybe your feet are still working more than they could. So the idea of how we use the weight, how we use the heels also can be interesting one, I think. This is thing number two. And thing number three, okay, maybe we don't share all the secrets in one video. in the
Okay. Yeah, we
but
can. You can share in the retreat.
to be continued, yeah. And I think our conversation will find a good time and place to continue the conversation. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm sure.
True,
Yes,
true.
so like just to mention and just to think, standing leg,
Mhm.
standing leg. Like for me, it's maybe I don't go deeper in the explanation. Let it be just a game. Put the seat to the head.
Mhm. So I guess all these points that you mentioned and the tonus of the back muscles, the standing leg, and the balance will be probably a big part of the classes that you're going to propose in the retreat.
As well,
Mhm.
I would say that we will not be able to avoid any of these topics.
And to not look on the back. Mhm. Okay, and also last thing that I would ask you, because that was like about the back, about the heel. I feel it was very much for followers. Like we can totally feel it. And what would you say for about the leaders? Like what is the crucial thing in the technique for the leaders? Like for example, this heel for the woman or the back tonus, the same things, or there's something different that is like this kind of
Okay,
milestone.
connection to the flow, of course. Standing leg, it's a key moment for technique. Doesn't matter of the role. And for leaders, I would say pensalo bien antes de dar este paso. Do you remember this?
Once again.
This tango of D'Arienzo, pensalo bien. Pensalo
Uh-huh.
bien antes de dar este paso.
And
Or
why?
in English, think twice before you do this step. And I mean like to prepare every word you're gonna say, to prepare it well. Yeah, because if
This
still
is
if we keep this
tricky, no?
metaphor,
Because
this
there's not
conversation,
always time for this.
yeah, like when I speak, if I want to be understood, my pronunciation, my speech should be clear.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to let
Mm-hmm.
a little bit, I have to let you know about my plans a little bit in advance. I would say that what it happens to me to work very often with is too fast.
Mm.
Take it easy. Breath. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this is what, okay, if you asked about one, this is what I would put on the first place. Just to, in other words, okay, I like to say that in these words, nothing comes from nowhere and nothing disappears without a trace. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
let's think how the movement is being born, where from it comes, how it's appearing, first of all, inside my own body before I can like proceed with first like no the shadow, the soul of this movement. It appears inside and then it's developing and then something happens.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a
So
process.
once again, we are
It's a
getting
process.
here to this point of mindfulness and of really feeling your body, like every little things that are happening inside.
Yeah, yeah. And the same about how to in the end. I like to joke that tango is a very simple dance, and we have two questions: how to start and how to stop. Yes, and every joke has a part of joke.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like here I can feel totally that this is so much about the precision of the movement and feeling so much our body, like really sharpening the mind, because sometimes like the leader is giving the signal, the step, everything is perfect, clear, but for example it's not finished, or like the follower didn't finish the step, or there's
Mhm.
like 1 millisecond missing to
Mhm.
finish something.
Mhm.
And this is a very neuralgic point, like we have to be so mindful and so precise to not miss these microseconds.
Mhm. Exactly.
Mhm.
And then we can have these microseconds to enjoy the zero gravity in between the steps.
Mm. Mhm. So
Or
probably this is one
in
of the
other words,
secrets.
sky full of diamonds is there in these
Diamonds is there.
microcycles.
Okay, I feel that now you have shared one of the secrets of your like famous soft steps. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Like I see also there's of course for sure much more things, but I feel we will have a lot of space to share all these like also in the retreat in the Stade. And I see that there are some people watching us, so maybe if someone has some questions to Slava or to me about yoga, breathing, and anything like that, like you can write here. I don't know how to read it. If we will see if they write, but if someone wants to ask something, you can try. Maybe we can see. Yeah. Or I'm really not sure about the technical aspect of this. But anyway, like even if someone has questions
Okay, you can
after this
send them to us.
conversation, yeah, exactly. There's always space to ask. You can write like after below the conversation, and there's always space for discussion. So, Slava, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your invitation, Anya. Yeah, it was really a pleasure
Oh,
for me
and
to talk.
thank you. Yeah, I'm really looking forward.
Yes, so me too. And really, it's not going to be just a workshop or whatever. It's going to be a retreat. Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly, exactly. Mhm.
So,
Yeah, the retreat in the house, isolated from everything, in the mountains, with no neighbors around. We will be staying like on the top of the little hill with the fields full of flowers. In October, they are still full of flowers and like nothing around. So there will be perfect conditions to really focus on our body, to sharpen the mind, like to work with all these things that we're talking here about, to really feel more the breath, to feel more the body, and then from this awareness, like to go to the deep technical work.
Anya, I think you had
So
to start with these words about the top of the hill and no neighbors
yeah, on top of the hill, yeah,
and,
yeah,
and cacao ceremony, right?
yeah. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah,
Have a good
see you
day,
soon.
and everyone who is watching, have a good days and good
Yeah.
Vilongas tonight
Have a
in
great
Krakow.
weekend, everybody. Yeah. Ciao.
Bye
Pa.
bye.
Pa.